तो जहाँ भी अपना मेश है वहाँ पे फोल्डर में जाना है, ये मेरा है। तो यहाँ पे कभी कभी वो मेश दिखता नहीं, तो यहाँ पे एक ऑल मेश फाइल्स ऑप्शन है, क्योंकि ICM जो देता है .msh फाइल देता है. So in that case you need to select all mesh files, right? So any of the mesh we can consider, like suppose we will start with this one. ठीक है, अभी स्केल में जाके you need to check what is the domain size there. You have created the geometry, you know the domain size, and after importing the mesh you should always check if it is coming as same dimension as not. Because of the scaling effect, sometimes it may happen that it may increase, like suppose you have exported in terms of meter. When you are exporting your mesh in ICM, you may end up exporting the mesh in meters, like that it will be exported at 272 meters, right? So in that case you need to scale it down. So since I have exported it as per the domain size, so that's why it is coming as the domain. Okay, so you should always check the scale of the domain. Okay, if you have created it in you just keep the dimension as and just see how the things are coming. If the dimensions and the coordinates, these are limiting coordinates of entire domain, if they are exactly what you have created in CAD file. Okay, so this is the first step you should check, and then you can go and just display. So the second thing to observe is these arrows, like based on the name you have given the boundary conditions, right, in ISIM for during the mesh generation. So during that process you have given like inlet, so it's always a good practice to name the boundaries as they are going to behave. Suppose this one I have named as the inlet, so that keyword the FLUENT will detect and it will by default will give this as inlet. That is another case that it will give inlet velocity or mass flow rate. That's a different case, but it will reflect over here if you have given the name very properly as they behave. So I have given the inlet, so it is taking as inlet, so that's why the arrow is going in, so that those vectors are reflecting that thing. And here, like at the downstream at the exit, I have given the outlet, so that's why the vectors are outward. And the same way this side also I have given the outlet, because I am trying to keep this as atmospheric domain, because my flame is open, so that's why I have given the outlet. In your case the flames are inside the wall, so that will be a different thing, so there you have to give the wall. So that's what I'm saying. So whatever the actual physics there in your domain, you should follow that. And here you can observe the mesh, like as I was mentioning you, so that this is the flame zone here, right? This to this, so this is fine mesh. Okay, and if you zoom out you can see like this is the only fine zone is there, other than that is a coarse mesh. So that's how we, since we are aiming to capture the flame over in this region, so that's why, and the flame will form like this, so we need to resolve those flame thickness by at least 4 to 5 cells. Okay, so that's how we do the mesh. So these are the three things I showed you, right? It's two things basically, scale and display. ठीक, the next step comes, we are going to do the axi-symmetric, it's not the planar. Okay, it will be by default pressure based and steady. You are doing the low Mach number flow, right? So if you are modeling the low Mach number flow, so these things, see, the thing is whatever the options here coming, right, you should just click on these things and you make a notes parallelly, you do the setup parallelly, you make a notes and what these options mean. Okay, when you are going to defend your MTech, then these questions will be asked. What is the pressure based solver? What do you mean by the solver type? So if you read it in the manual itself, so there are two things, user guide and theory guide. So you have to go into the theory guide and read these things. What is the pressure based thing? What is the density based thing? Okay, what is the time steady and transient, that you understand there. Okay, and this is axi-symmetric. So how axi-symmetric things are solved in FLUENT, that you should know. How the Gaussian, basically you are solving the Gaussian equations, okay, continuity momentum equations as of now if you are doing the non-reacting case, right? So in the, if you remember that Gaussian equations will have the transient term, right? Then you will have the, I'm talking about the momentum equation, then you will have the transport term, right, convection term. Then go to other side, there will be pressure term, and then you will have the viscosity term. So these are the basically terms are there. So if you turn on steady, the transient term is gone. Then you have the velocity terms, the convection terms on the left hand side. Right hand side you have the pressure term, pressure gradient term, and the viscous term, because you are modeling the viscous fluid. Okay, so these three terms will be remaining. Or continuity equation, if this is an incompressible flow, so then you will have del u by del x plus del v by del y is equal to 0. Okay, so you got two equations, but three unknowns are there.
Basically, I need to know the theory behind it.
So you should read those things. Okay, so that's why I'm saying if you click on this, it will open automatically the user guide, and you can just go and read each and every option. You should read thoroughly.
Actually, earlier I've gone through this pressure density solver that can take this.
That's what I'm saying. You make notes of it. What are all the options being used, particularly in your case? So those things you should be by-hearted. By-hearted means you should know in and out of it. Okay. So we are going to do the axi-symmetric. We have taken this axi-symmetric option.
I'm taking. Do they ask this?
Yes, definitely they will. You are going to present the numerical work, so they can start from anywhere. They will start the Gaussian equation itself. What are the Gaussian equations you have used during your solution? Then how you have solved those things. First thing is what are the Gaussian equations you have used. So that means that reflects that you understand the physics of the problem. Okay, that is one part. Now the second task is how to solve that problem using this FLUENT solver. So basically you have to solve it numerically. So you are using the finite volume method. Okay, so the finite volume method you are using to convert this Gaussian equation differential equation to the algebraic equation. Once you have converted the in form of algebraic equations, so how are you going to solve those equations, right? So you need to linearize them. Okay, because these Gaussian equations are non-linear in nature, so you convert in the Gaussian equation, algebraic equation using finite volume method. You linearize it, and then you apply some numerical techniques, right, to solve them. So because this pressure and velocity are coupled in those equations. Continuity equation is there, velocity is unknown, and then you have this what you call momentum equation. Okay, so if you read this thing first, the pressure base, then if you will go to the methods, how you are solving. Since this is the laminar flow, so we'll go with the laminar option here. There are multiple options here, so that also you can go through. Since you are modeling the laminar, so you need not to select other options. Okay, so at every step FLUENT provides the help option. Somewhere it will be as a question mark, somewhere it will be as help. So if you click on this help, it will take you on these options. Viscous model, it will directly take you to the viscous model, and then you can read. Okay, so this was the second thing. So we are just going to do initially we will do the non-reacting flow. Okay, so we have selected the viscous thing. Then you can, of course, you can look into the matter what type of fluid you are using. If you are using air itself, so you can just check the properties. Okay, so that's another thing. What are all the options you are using? And then comes the, of course, the boundary condition. So that's the benefit. If you name the boundary condition as they are going to be used in your case, so it will automatically detect. FLUENT does that. I have named this thing axis, so it is taking it as axis. Inlet velocity it has taken, inlet co-flow velocity this one, and then this internal solid domain is there, and then this is the outlet. Two outlets are there. I have named two outlets. Okay, so if you go to the inlet velocity option, so here you have to define your velocity. What is the velocity, like 1 meter per second or whatever it is. Okay, so you have to give the velocity option here. Okay, and then the same goes for this. And suppose if you need to change the type of the boundary type, inlet boundary type, so you right click here, then you get the type option, and right now it is selected to the velocity inlet, so you can select it to mass flow inlet. Okay, so this is how it comes. So right now in your case we just need the velocity inlet, so we'll just keep it as it is. Okay, so this is done, and then you go to the outlet, so keep it as static pressure. The default settings are fine, but mostly it's better to backflow pressure specification, so you keep it at static pressure. That's fine. Okay, and the same will go for here as well. ठीक है, but मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, every time I'm saying that go in every help option, you'll understand what is the meaning of that particular term what they have given. Okay, see here, so they will explain here what is the meaning of this term. Okay, so you, if you read that, you will understand where to, what option to select, because Fluent is there, it's a very good software, but you need to know what options you need to select for your particular case. Okay, you just not blindly can tick all the options and start running the case. Select as minimal options as possible. Okay, because you don't, if you don't know anything, so better first read, try to find out what are those options mean, because if you are getting placed also, suppose after MTech if you are going to join some CFD company, okay, so if they are taking you into, they need to know, they may ask you these things, what do you mean by these options, so that's why read it thoroughly. This could help you in your interview also, because sometimes companies do look for Fluent specific jobs in CFD. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it will take time. You keep the simulations running, at the back of it you just start reading the options. One case you open and you run the case simulation, simulations are running, whatever the settings you used. You open another case, go step by step, read all the options, open the help option, try to read, take notes of it, make a notes, that would be better, because when you write you remember more, and it will help you later also. Okay, so these things are very like boring, but if you do, then only it's good. Then we have selected the boundary condition, these options we need not to look at. Okay, and then we go to the pressure velocity coupling. So we'll start with the simple, or you can go with the coupled also, but you need to read it. What do you mean by simple, simplex, piezo, coupled? These questions will come. Why you used simple? Why did you not use other piezo? Okay, why did you use coupled? So these options will be, these questions will be asked to you. Okay, so we can go with the coupled, sorry, simple option. कर लो बात कर लो.
हेलो, हाँ सफी बोल. यार मैं हूँ नहीं वहाँ पे.
Okay, so we did the method option, right? So what CFD, if you read the CFD, then you will understand you have done the meshing, right? So there will be some gradient terms in the finite volume method. So those terms you need to get using what technique. Okay, all these are numerical approaches to be used to find out those terms. Okay, to solve the pressure term, because this you have to do the discretization. So these are the discretization things, how we are doing the discretization for pressure term and those things. So if you read this, then only you understand the CFD actually. So that's why that CFD course is important. What exactly is happening in the behind. Okay, so doing CFD course is very important. So initially you can keep the constants as it is. These are under relaxation factors. Again, it's part of CFD thing. When you solve the equations numerically after discretization, so you need to control some constants. There will be some constants used to stabilize the simulations. So these are those constants. So sometimes you need to play with them. But in laminar frame, if your mesh is good, it's fine. You can go with the default values. Okay, and then you come to the residual part, where you can just increase it, because it will converge very fast. So you can just increase that, and then comes the you can right now you can just leave them as it is. You can go to initialization. Always try to do with the inlet thing, and then initialize. Done. And then go to the run calculation, give the number of iterations you want to run, and start.
हेलो फ़ोन कहाँ है तेरा कहाँ मुझे नहीं बोला मैं नहीं जा रही हूँ मेरी कल है आज नहीं
While you are running the simulation, you need to record the data. Okay, so you turn on this, and you can select after how many iterations you want to save. Since it's a steady case laminar, you can save it after 500 or after number of iterations.
10,000 okay.
So after every 250 iterations, it will record the data file, so that if something happens, you will have the last recorded files. Okay, sometimes you end up with a power cut is there, something is there, so you should have the last data, right? Otherwise you have to, every time you have to initiate your simulations, and you keep it to, and then you can browse what should be the name of your case file and the or data file, and where exactly you want to save. So you can just browse that, and okay, and then you can just start running the simulation. So that's all about the running the simulation in Axi-symmetric.